Hey everyone, what's going on? It's your boy Krebsy Crypto, and for today's video, I was going to be going over this article, and it's about sneaky fake Google Translate app installs crypto miner on 112,000 PCs. And the reason why I'm going over this is just to show you guys that, these viruses do sneak around and that you should be aware of what you are downloading. Even if something looks legitimate, you got to dig into it and see if it's just the legitimate like software or product that is being like presented to you, because a lot of the time now hackers, yeah, they want to go and get your information and things like that, but a lot of them are installing crypto miners as the new way of like hacking, so you won't even notice it, and all of a sudden you'll notice your computer running slow and things like that. A good way to notice this is if you download something a little shady or you're uncertain, is to check your task manager, and I'll show you quickly right now. You just right click down on your bottom taskbar here, and then you click task manager, and then this window should pop up here. It's going to be your task manager. You click more details, and you can go right down to the performance of all of your computer and things like that. So your CPU should be running fairly low depending on the process you're doing. I'm just recording, so it's a little bit of usage. But if you go onto your task manager and you go on your CPU, and it's a fairly new CPU, and you notice it's like 50% or higher and you're just idling, there's obviously something going wrong. And that's how this kind of thing kind of got picked up recently. And it's kind of been an ongoing thing since 2019. But a lot of these companies are just realizing it now, because a lot of these crypto miners and like hacks and things like that are being done so stealthy that they can't even pick it up or notice it. And I just want you guys, as my viewers, to be aware of this, just in case you download something that looks legitimate. It literally could be a virus, or it could be a crypto miner, or anything of the sort. So like I said, it's just good to be attentive. So let's go over this article so we can give a brief explanation on what's going on. So dressed up as a legitimate desktop software, the sneaky malware has infected thousands of machines across 11 different countries, forcing them to unknowingly mine Monero XMR as a cryptocurrency of choice, because that's mainly a CPU driven coin, and it's pretty easy to get infections and hacks done to your CPU as like the hacker side of things and things like that. Once you do download some of these softwares, it ends up running a crypto miner, a CPU miner most of the time, sometimes GPU as well. But as we know, Monero is efficiently mined with a CPU. So this one's targeting more or less CPUs. And then it mines Monero using your power, your hydro, your computer, your GPU, whatever. And it sends it to the hacker's wallet. And that's how they're profiting off of you as well. And it could be costing you money as well because of your power consumption. It could be damaging your computer overall, depending what you're doing, as well as the crypto mining itself. So there's a lot of wear and tear. So it's not just your basic or average like malware or hack. It has a lot of like downfalls with it. Like I said, with the damage, with the money being made, your power consumption, and things like that. So crypto mining malware has been sneakily invading hundreds of thousands of computers around the world since 2019, often masquerading as legitimate programs, so covering itself up as legitimate programs such as Google Translate, new research has found. So one of the programs they are like replicating is a Google Translate, but obviously that is not a desktop software. So if you're already aware of Google Translate, you can just go online and translate from different languages without having to download anything. But a lot of non-tech savvy people, even sometimes tech savvy people, just get caught up thinking it's a legitimate program because it looks so legitimate and it looks like verified by Google themselves. But this research has found that it's just masquerading, so covering itself up as that and actually producing a malware. So in a Monday report by Checkpoint Research CPR, a research team from American Israel cybersecurity provider, Checkpoint Software Technologies revealed that the malware has been flying under the radar for years, thanks partly to its insidious design, which delays installing the crypto mining malware for weeks after the initial software has downloaded. So this has flown under the radar just due to how the setup is. Once you do download this malware or virus, whatever you want to call it, it delays installing. So after about like a week, or depending on how many times you restart your computer, it will trigger this malware to install. And then that's when the crypto miner kicks in. So it's pretty stealth and people won't pick it up right away. And all of a sudden, weeks down the road is when they'll notice it. But some people will forget about it after time, because they'll be like, oh, I didn't think it was related to that software I downloaded a few weeks ago. Usually viruses and hacks and things like that happen right off the jump as soon as you download said software. So it's definitely an interesting form of a malware. I personally have like dealt with malware and always kind of looked into it and seen how different things affect it. And it's interesting to me that they set it up this way, that after like a week or longer, depending on how many times you restart your computer, that this thing will just trigger. It's just beyond me how sophisticated these things are getting. And then it just gets into your CPU and starts mining. And sometimes you won't even notice because it could, depending on like your power limit, it might only take half your CPU, a quarter of your CPU. It could go for the full thing depending on the quality and age of your CPU. So if you do notice something like slow or laggy, do check your task manager and all the tasks. Like I said, if you do go to your task manager here, you can see all the different processes running. So if there's something a little suspicious to you, you can literally just click on it. So if I were to click on OBS, for example, this end task thing comes up and you can end said task, but sometimes it re-pops up. So that's when you know most of the time it's a malware or it's something that like is not supposed to be on your computer. A lot of the time, like there's a lot of main ones, so like the runtimes and Microsoft products, but those will be verified and you will know. If it's something a little suspicious, like a miner or something of the sort, and you don't have one running, obviously you can end it and then look into your C drive and see where it's all installed and running, because that's how they get you, is most of the time it installs into like the hard drive itself, so that way it's hidden, or sometimes it's in hidden files itself. There's a lot of different routes this thing can go. So here's the actual tweet by Checkpoint Software. So @_CPR research detected a crypto miner malware campaign which potentially infected thousands of machines worldwide. Dubbed Nitro COD, I think that's how you pronounce it. The attack was initially found by Checkpoint XDR, and you can get the details and more in depth at their website, but we're just going over this article quickly to show you. But as you've seen, they even have like a dubbed name for this thing because it's been going on since 2019, but no one was able to really pick it up until as of late. But linked to a Turkish-based speaking software developer claiming to offer free and safe software, the malware program invades PCs through counterfeit desktop versions of popular apps such as YouTube Music, Google Translate, and Microsoft Translate. So it's not just Google Translate they're masking up as. You could download the YouTube Music app, let's say, even though technically you don't need an app. Some people are not aware of that. You download it, ends up getting this malware infected into your computer, and it's from a Turkish-based speaking software developer. So it's something that is claiming to be free, safe software from this Turkish-based speaking company or software, or however that works. But the fact is that when you are Googling these things, a lot of these things don't even need apps in general. So YouTube Music, Google Translate, Microsoft Translate, all don't have desktop versions of it. But some people may think, oh, they might see it on like Google or something, and they're like, oh, I didn't know you could have like a desktop one, so I don't have to open my web browser and search for it. I could just open the desktop version. Some people are not aware of that, and that's okay. This is why these articles come out, and this is why I'm explaining it to you, because you can check over your computer to make sure, or if you accidentally download something like this, you can go ahead and check it for yourself, uninstall it, and clean up your computer if you notice things aren't running right. So what makes this so tricky is once a scheduled task mechanism triggers the malware installation process, it steadily goes through several steps over several days, ending with a stealth Monero XMR crypto mining operation being set up. So it's a whole stealth operation, like I was saying at the start of this. It's very hidden, it's very thought out, because over time, all of a sudden, after like a week span, after a few times of restarting, this starts to go through its installation. And it takes several days because I believe it's just like a stealth setup. So that way it's not too noticeable. So day after day installs bit by bit by bit. And all of a sudden it has a whole stealth Monero crypto mining operation running on your computer. I know it sounds very like crazy and it's very scary. But if you are pretty safe online and you're not going around just downloading these type of programs, if you know YouTube Music is on YouTube, then just stick with that. Google Translate's on Google. Microsoft Translate is on, I believe, Bing or something like that. So you don't have to worry about downloading actual apps. This is just more or less people that came across it are not as tech savvy. But even like the most tech savvy can get caught up getting viruses or malware and things like this happen because it just takes one overlook and all of a sudden you think it's a legitimate program by a legitimate company. So the cybersecurity firm said that the Turkish-based crypto miner dubbed Nitro COD, I believe that's how you say it, has infected machines across 11 countries. According to CPR, so that cybersecurity company, Popular software downloading sites like Softpedia and Up to Down has forgeries available under the publisher name NitroCod Inc. So this is a whole company dedicated to getting malwares out there, hacking people, getting cryptocurrency by doing it this way. I know why they take the time to do it this way, because they don't have to buy their own things, but they could literally set up their own mining facility and do it themselves. I don't ever understand why people go around this route. Like, I understand the ease of it and like how easy it is for like some of these skilled hackers and such to set up programs, and people end up falling for it, unfortunately. But they could, do the better route and actually help the blockchain set up mining facilities and produce their own content, like their own software and their own miners and things like that. So they don't have to go about doing it this way and then hurting actual innocent people. But we all know, there's good and bad in the world, and unfortunately, you can't go about it. So some of the programs have been downloaded hundreds of thousands of times, such as a fake desktop version of Google Translate on Softpedia, which even has nearly 1,000 reviews, averaging a star score 9.3 out of 10, despite Google not having an official desktop version for that program. So clearly they're even botting things on their Softpedia. So Softpedia is where you can download a lot of free and open source programs and things like that. Just like an alternative way, instead of just Googling, you can go Softpedia and find software. And these guys released a Google Translate desktop version on Softpedia. I'll show you a screenshot. And they went and clearly botted the score, so it's 9.3 out of 10. So it looks legitimate, it looks like verified, because it has over like 2,000 downloads, I believe it says there, and it has like a perfect score, almost 10 out of 10. So like, yeah, clearly, Google released this. It has the Google Translate app like logo there. So you think to yourself, yeah, this could be a legitimate thing, but at the end of the day, it's not really. And as you see, the thing that you have to take note of is the author. So NitroCod Inc. You see it right there underneath the technical information. And that's going to be your kicker. So whenever you're downloading off of things like this, you really got to keep a close eye. Because as you see, the 112,193 downloads from this company, I believe. And the Google Translate desktop is 2,877. And it was released back in 2019. It's a freeware. So at first glance, it looks legitimate, but you just have to keep digging and look to make sure it is, or do some research to see if Google actually released a desktop version of this app, or YouTube released a desktop version of their app. Because like I said, even the most technology inclined people can overlook this. I know a lot of people keep up and they know that you could just translate on google.com itself, but a lot of people also might look for an alternative like an easy app or something like that, because I believe there's mobile apps for this type of thing. I'm not 100% sure. So people look for like a desktop version of it just to make it easy so they don't have to go online and such. But it's just wicked to me that they got away with this, that this was allowed to be posted on Softpedia, even though it's by a different author. So it shouldn't be allowed in the first place, especially under the Google Translate name, because Google is like a legitimate company. It should be only like Google author posting the Google things, not some random company that is just like on their website, you know what I mean? So it could be also that something that these websites could update or incorporate, only allow like verified publishers to upload on here, like being Google or things like that, Microsoft, whatever you want to call it. But according to Checkpoint Software Technologies, offering a desktop version of apps is a key part of the scam. Most programs offered by NitroCod do not have a desktop version, making the counterfeit software appealing to users who think they found a program unavailable anywhere else. So they think they found something that, like, I couldn't find it anywhere else, so this must be like the source of it. This must be like the way to go about it, and it's just ease of use. So they can go ahead and just run the desktop app, like I said, instead of having to go online or using any other form of apps. You can just do it right on your desktop, making it easy. But unfortunately, it's not that easy, and that's what tends to lead to like software and malware infections and viruses and hacks going on. According to Maya Howitz, I think that's how you pronounce it, Vice President Research at Checkpoint Software, the malware-riddled fakes are also available by a simple web search. So even by just simply searching on Google, these things will come up. What's most interesting to me is the fact that the malicious software is so popular, yet went under the radar for so long. But like I said, a lot of it could be botted just due to the fact to try to make it look legitimate. So maybe not this many people actually downloaded it, but at the same time, you never know. It could just be like bots doing it from their end, from NitroCod's end, to make it look legitimate. Same with the average score and the votes and things like that. Because there's over like 112,000 or 2,000 downloads, whatever like that, and there's 830 votes. So I know there's always going to be a different ratio, but there's obviously something up there. So it's obviously something to do with botting, in my opinion, but that's just my guess. As of writing, NitroCod's imitation Google Translate desktop program remains one of the main search results. So people are looking and Googling for Google Translate desktop program, and it's coming up with this program, and unfortunately it's leading to these mining softwares getting put onto the computers and them mining Monero or XMR, and it's not even for their benefit. So it's just hurting them at the end, and it's costing the user money because hydro rates and things like that go up. And if your computer's on mining crypto, you guys spend money on the hydro because hydro rates are crazy right now. So it takes a lot of power to mine it. Like, not in a sense, but at the same time, for the average person, you will see a difference on your hydro bill. If you have like a gaming computer like myself, that's a pretty big, hefty gaming computer, and your CPU mining on it, it's going to take a little bit of power. You will notice a little bit of influctuation on your hydro bill and things like that. The malware is particularly tricky to detect, as even when a user launches the sham software, so like the scam software you can call it, they remain none the wiser, as the fake app can also mimic the same functions as a legitimate app provides. So for say they download the YouTube Music desktop app, it will still produce like YouTube Music and such, but it's just going to open up like the web browser version, and it won't be any different from when you're actually using the legitimate software or the legitimate app. So if you're on your iPhone or Android and you have YouTube Music, let's say, I'm not sure how it works. I personally don't have it, but I believe it's like a separate app you can download, and it will act as like its own music playing app. So in a sense, on the desktop version, it's just pulling either the app form or like the website up, and you're allowed to use YouTube Music. So it acts the same as a legitimate app already provides. So that's another way for it to avoid detection, because it's working as promised in a sense. But in the background, it's installing and infecting your computer with the malware, and also running a miner on it and doing a lot of damage overall to your computer. Most of the hackers' programs are easily built from official web pages using a Chromium-based framework, allowing them to spread functional programs loaded with malware without developing them from the ground up. So they take like the base of the programs or the official web pages, and they use those web pages and they build like a program around it using a framework, which honestly isn't that hard. You can do it in Visual Basic and things like that as well, but they're using a Chromium-based framework, and they go ahead and make the software, but all it's doing is opening the official web page, and it makes it seem like it's a legitimate app, pretty much like adding a shortcut on your desktop. It's so that way it can just go to that web page, and then it's opening up. So same with Google Translate, same with the YouTube Music. It's just pulling their official web pages, and then they're making like a program around it. So if that makes sense, hopefully it does. I try to explain the best I could there. But that's how they're developing these, and it's taking no skill at all. And they already have like the actual, in a sense, the program laid out. They're just adding like a fancy border and their own like drop-down menus and things like that. It's just pulling from the web page. It'd be like if I had this web page here, let's say, I had this open, and around it would be like a box, right? And it would say like file, start, save, this, that. And it would open this web page up, right? That's what it's pretty well doing in this sense. It's going around and just they're building a framework. They're building like a program around the website that's already been produced. And I may be rambling on, but it's because I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to like these malware and these hacks and developing software and things like that. I kind of have a small background when it comes to programming and coding and things like that. Not in a malicious way, but I just know how it goes about. I've done it all in, I guess you can say, the white hat way. I do it for the positive instead of the negative. I don't go after people. I try to help people when it comes to programming and, things like that, helping people avoid these type of things. When it becomes like the black hat version, which is what these guys are doing. That's what they call it, because they're going after your actual computer. They're taking stuff from you. They're affecting your daily use on these computers. So far, over 100,000 people across Israel, Germany, the United Kingdom, the United States, Sri Lanka, I think that's how you pronounce it, Cyprus, Australia, Greece, Turkey, Mongolia, and Poland have all fallen prey to the malware. So that's the reason why I'm kind of making this, because United Kingdom, United States people have watched my videos, and there's also Australians. It's worldwide because it's YouTube. So I just want to bring this to your attention so you can go over and check your computers just to make sure. Who knows, you might have not even downloaded it. It could have been a different fake app that you downloaded that has this virus or these type of malware or this type of mining software, because there's tons of them going around. You just gotta be really attentive. So to avoid getting scammed by things like this, I suggest just if you do come across like a desktop version of an app, see if that company actually released it, like I was saying earlier. Do some Google research, look at the developer of the app, look who uploaded it. You gotta do some due diligence when it comes to even software and programs now, because you don't know, because there's a lot of malware and hacks and things like that going on just to try to, get on this crypto. I don't even know what to like rely it as. People just want crypto and they'll do bad ways of going about it to get their hands on crypto instead of just buying it or setting up a mining software or mining rig themselves. They'll just go ahead and make a program, make people download it, and they have thousands and thousands of computers mining crypto for them. But then the consequences are worse, because if they get found and then they get traced back, these hackers are going to spend some time probably and get some fines. So in my opinion, it's not really worth like the risk for reward when it comes to a lot of these hackers and things like that. But that's just me. Obviously, like I said, there's good and bad in the world. But yeah, overall, I didn't mean to make this a long video. If it ends up being a long video, so be it. I just have, like I said, a lot of knowledge and background in this type of thing. Not saying I've done like any hacks or stuff like that. I just know coding experience. I know programming experience. I know like the ways these guys are working and how it's getting done. And it just blows my mind that it's gone on this long. But it makes sense because of the stealth way they're doing it. But I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention, or as many people as I can, so that way you guys are always on alert and know what, is real, what's not, what to look for, what to not look for, and things like that of the sort. So that way you guys are always on top of it, and that way it helps you guys so you're not end up in this position where, let's say you have your mining rigs going and somehow malware gets onto there or gets onto your network, and then all of a sudden all your rigs are also mining for somebody else, or they're redirecting the wallet address or things like that. There could be many ways of going about this, because there's even been hacks with like Hive OS and things like that, but they go in and change like your wallet address. They start mining for other people and they get your account information and things like that. It's a wild, wild west out here. That's why I like making these type of videos, to let you guys know and let you guys stay on top of it. But again, sorry for rambling on. But that's all I got for you guys today. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as it lets me know you guys are enjoying this and it helps you out. But I hope you all have an amazing day, and this is XMR Crypto signing out.